The fall 2000 words. The night everything shattered. Arya Blackwood stood outside the private dining room at the plaza, her hand trembling on the crystal door handle. Inside, laughter echoed. The kind of careless, intimate laughter that made her stomach twist. She'd come early to surprise Marcus before their rehearsal dinner. Surprise him with the vintage watch she'd saved for months to buy. The one that had belonged to his grandfather. She pushed the door open quietly. What she saw destroyed her. Marcus, her fiancé, had Vivian pressed against the mahogany table. Her best friend since childhood. Their lips locked, hands tangled in each other's hair, completely lost in each other. The watch slipped from Arya's fingers and hit the marble floor with a sharp crack. They jumped apart. Arya. Vivian's voice was breathless, her lipstick smeared. This isn't. Don't. Arya's voice came out stronger than she felt. Don't you dare. Marcus straightened his tie, and something in his expression made her blood run cold. No guilt. No shame. Just annoyance at being caught. We need to talk, he said calmly, as if they were discussing business. How long? Arya heard herself ask. 6 months, Vivian whispered, tears streaming down her face. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. 6 months. Half a year of lies. While Arya planned their wedding, chose flowers, tasted cakes, dreamed of their future. While she built her event planning business from nothing, working 18-hour days to prove herself worthy of the sterling name. While she defended Vivian to Marcus's family, who said her friend was jealous and toxic. They'd been right. ## the rehearsal dinner from hell. An hour later, Arya sat at the head table, surrounded by 200 guests. Marcus's parents, the powerful Sterling family, held court at one end. Her modest family, intimidated and out of place, huddled at the other. She should have canceled. Should have run. But shock had frozen her in place, and now she sat like a statue while Marcus gave his speech. To my beautiful bride, he said, raising his glass. His smile was perfect, practiced. Arya came into my life when I needed someone stable. Someone who understood duty and hard work. She's built a successful business, proven herself capable of handling the responsibilities that come with our family name. Responsibilities. Duties. Not love. Not passion. She heard it clearly now. Vivian sat 3 tables away, mascara stained and miserable. Arya stood abruptly. Silence fell like a guillotine. I have something to say. Her voice carried across the room, clear and cold. This wedding is cancelled. Gasps erupted. Mrs. Sterling's face went white with fury. Marcus has been having an affair, Arya continued, with my best friend. For 6 months. While I planned our future, they planned their betrayal. You're being dramatic, Marcus said, standing. Everyone, Arya's under a lot of stress. Show them the pictures, Arya said to the room at large. She pulled out her phone, connected to the venue's display screen. The photo she'd taken an hour ago appeared 20 feet high. Marcus and Vivian, impossible to deny. Chaos exploded. You vindictive bitch, Mrs. Sterling hissed, grabbing Arya's arm. Do you know what you've done? The embarrassment, the scandal. What I've done. Arya wrenched free. Your son destroyed me. But I won't be destroyed quietly. She walked out of the plaza with her head high, leaving behind her engagement ring, her dignity, and the life she'd thought she wanted. ## the destruction. The Sterling family moved fast. Within a week, Arya's business collapsed. Contracts canceled. Clients mysteriously unavailable. Vendors refusing to work with her. The Sterling Empire's influence reached everywhere, and they used every bit of it to crush her. Her bank account drained as refunds processed. Her office lease wasn't renewed. Reviews appeared online, all anonymous, all vicious. Unprofessional. Unstable. Can't be trusted with major events. Marcus married Vivian 3 months later in a quiet ceremony. The society pages called it romantic. Childhood sweethearts finally together. They rewrote history, making Arya the outsider who'd briefly interrupted their true love story. She moved from her trendy apartment to a tiny studio in Brooklyn, sold her designer clothes, ate ramen for dinner, watched her dreams disintegrate like ash. At night she cried. During the day she planned. ## the encounter. 6 months after the disaster, Arya attended a charity gala. Not as a guest, not as a planner, as a coat check girl. She needed money, and pride was a luxury she couldn't afford. She was hanging up a fur coat when she saw him. Damian Cross stood near the bar, radiating power in his black tuxedo. She recognized him from business magazines. Self-made billionaire. Tech genius. Started with nothing, built an empire. Age 32, unmarried, intensely private. Their eyes met across the ballroom. He walked toward her with purpose, and Arya's heart hammered. She was wearing a simple black dress, her hair pulled back, makeup minimal. Not the polished woman she'd once been. "You're Arya Blackwood," he said. Not a question. "You have the wrong person," she lied. "No, I don't." His voice was deep, controlled. "I know exactly who you are. The woman who exposed Marcus Sterling's affair. Very public. Very brave. Or very stupid," Arya muttered. "The Sterling family destroyed your business." Damian's dark eyes assessed her. "They're good at that. Destroying things." Something in his tone made her look up. "You sound like you know from experience." "I do." He pulled a business card from his pocket. "Meet me tomorrow. 11 a.m. This address. I have a proposal for you." "I'm not interested in." "It's not that kind of proposal." A slight smile touched his lips. "It's about revenge. Hashtag the proposal." The next day, Arya arrived at a sleek office building in Manhattan. Damian's company, Crosstech Industries, occupied the top 10 floors. She was escorted to a penthouse conference room with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Damian stood at the window, hands in his pockets. "Thank you for coming," he said without turning. "You mentioned revenge." Arya set her cheap purse on the mahogany table. "I'm listening." He turned, and in daylight she saw the shadows under his eyes, the carefully controlled pain behind his expression. 5 years ago, Damian began, I was nobody, working 3 jobs, coding programs in my apartment, trying to build a software company. I fell in love with a woman named Sophie. She was everything. My partner, my future. His voice remained steady, but his hands clenched. Marcus Sterling's father, Richard, wanted my technology. When I refused to sell, he crushed my company. Used his connections, his power. My investors pulled out. My reputation was destroyed. But worse, Sophie was driving to meet with a final investor who might save us. She was in a car accident. A Sterling company truck ran a red light, hit her head-on. Arya's breath caught. The driver was drunk. On duty. Richard Sterling's company covered it up. Paid off witnesses. My Sophie died, and they called it an unfortunate accident. I had nothing, no company, no justice, no love. I spent 5 years rebuilding from absolute zero, getting strong enough to make them pay. He finally looked at her. You and I, Damian said quietly, we're the same. They took everything from us. They think they're untouchable. I want to prove them wrong. How? Arya asked. I'll back your business. Provide capital, connections, everything you need to become the most successful event planner in New York. In return, you help me gather evidence of Sterling Corporation's corruption. They're committing fraud, tax evasion, illegal deals. I need someone on the inside. Someone they'll underestimate. You want me to spy. I want you to succeed. Spectacularly. To become so essential to elite society that the Sterlings have to hire you. And when they do, we expose everything. Arya walked to the window, looking out at the city that had rejected her. The city where Marcus and Vivian lived their fairy tale built on lies. What if I just want to move on? She asked. Find peace. Can you? Damian's reflection appeared in the glass beside hers. Can you really let them win? Let them destroy you and feel nothing? She couldn't. The anger burned too hot, too deep. I want my business back, Arya said. My reputation. My dignity. Not his money, not his name. Mine. Then take it. Damian extended his hand. Partner. Arya looked at his hand, then his face. She saw her own pain reflected there. 2 broken people, offering each other a path forward. Dangerous. Possibly destructive. But hers. She shook his hand. Partner. Hashtag the beginning of something dangerous. Over the next week, Damien's team established Aria's new company, Lux Events. High-end, exclusive, backed by anonymous investors. They secured an office in a prestigious building, hired a small staff, and began quietly reaching out to elite clients. Aria worked 20-hour days. Every event had to be perfect. Every detail flawless. Word of mouth spread slowly at first, then faster. The woman who'd been destroyed was rising from the ashes, and she was better than before. Damien met with her twice a week to review strategy. Gradually, she learned his story. How he'd coded his revenge software late at night. How he'd built Crosstech by refusing to sleep, to rest, to feel. How his entire existence revolved around making the Sterlings pay. "Don't you want more?" Aria asked one evening in his office. "A life beyond revenge?" "What life?" Damien's voice was harsh. "Sophie was my life. They took her. This is all I have left. You have success. Power. Money. None of it matters." He looked at her and for a moment his mask slipped. "Does it matter to you? The success you're building?" Aria thought of Marcus's face when he dismissed her. Vivian's betrayal. The humiliation. "No," she admitted. "It only matters if they see it. If they know they were wrong. Then we're the same," Damien said softly. "Two ghosts, haunting the people who killed us." Their eyes held. Something electric passed between them. Recognition of shared pain, shared purpose. It was dangerous. Neither could afford feelings. Not when revenge was the only thing keeping them alive. Aria left his office that night with a contract for a Fortune 500 company's gala. Her biggest client yet. And in her email an invitation. "Mr. and Mrs. Marcus Sterling request the honor of your presence at their 6-month anniversary celebration." She stared at the screen, pulse racing. "They want me to plan their party," she told Damien on the phone. His silence stretched for a long moment. Then, "Accept it. Damien. This is what we've been working toward. You're successful enough now that they have to acknowledge you. And once you're inside their world again." He paused. "We can destroy it." Aria thought of Marcus's smile. Vivian's tears. The way they'd rewritten history to make her the villain. "I'll do it," she said. "I'll plan their perfect celebration." And then she thought but didn't say, "I'll burn it all down." 6 months of transformation. Aria stood in her new office, 20 floors above Manhattan, watching the city wake up. 6 months had passed since she'd shaken Damien's hand. 6 months of building something real from the ruins of her old life. Lux Events occupied an entire floor now. 20 employees. Clients ranging from tech billionaires to foreign dignitaries. Her calendar was booked solid for the next year. The woman Marcus had dismissed as stable but uninspiring had become the most sought-after event planner in New York. But success tasted hollow when no one was watching. "Your 9 o'clock is here." Her assistant's voice came through the intercom. "Mrs. Sterling." Aria's stomach tightened. "Send her in." Vivian walked through the door, and Aria barely recognized her. The vibrant girl she'd known was gone. This woman wore a designer dress that hung too loose on her frame. Dark circles shadowed her eyes despite expensive makeup. Diamond rings weighted down her thin fingers. "Aria." Vivian's voice cracked. "Thank you for seeing me. You're a client." Aria kept her tone professional, cold. "I see all potential clients. I need you to plan the anniversary party. Marcus insists on using your company. He says it shows we've moved past everything." Vivian twisted her rings. "That we're mature about it." "Mature." Aria tasted the word. "Is that what we're calling it?" Vivian flinched. "I know you hate me. You should. What I did was. 6 months ago you were my best friend. Now you're Mrs. Sterling." Aria sat behind her desk, creating physical distance. "That's all that matters for this meeting. Tell me about the event." For the next hour, Vivian described Marcus's vision. 200 guests. Sterling Corporation's ballroom. Black tie. A celebration of their marriage and the company's success. Everything perfect. Everything showing the world that the Sterlings always won. "Budget is unlimited," Vivian said quietly. "Marcus wants the best. That's you now. I'll send you a proposal by Friday." Arya stood, ending the meeting. Anything else? Vivian remained seated, staring at her hands. He's not who I thought he was. I'm sorry. Marcus. Vivian's voice dropped to a whisper. He's cold. Controlling. Nothing I do is right. And his mother, Mrs. Sterling, treats me like hired help. I thought. When he chose me over you, I thought it meant something. It did mean something, Arya said flatly. It meant you both betrayed me. I know. I just thought. Vivian looked up and her eyes were swimming with tears. I thought he loved me. But he doesn't love anyone. He just wanted to win. For a moment, Arya felt a flicker of pity. Then she remembered the rehearsal dinner. The photos. The way her life had crumbled. That's not my problem anymore, Arya said. The door is behind you. After Vivian left, Arya sat in silence, staring at the contract on her desk. She should feel triumphant. Instead, she felt empty. Her phone buzzed. Damien. How did it go? Arya. Asterisk, she hired us. We're in. Asterisk. Damien. Asterisk, my office. 1 hour. We need to strategize. Asterisk. Hashtag the partnership deepens. Damien's office was dark when Arya arrived, only the city lights illuminating the space. He stood at his usual spot by the window, a glass of scotch in his hand. You didn't turn on the lights, Arya observed. I like the darkness. He didn't turn. It's honest. She joined him at the window, maintaining careful distance. Vivian's miserable. Good. She's trapped in exactly the life she thought she wanted. Also good. Damien finally looked at her. Don't tell me you feel sorry for her. I don't know what I feel. Arya accepted the glass of scotch he poured her. I wanted them to suffer. Now they are, and it feels complicated. It shouldn't. Damien's voice hardened. They destroyed you. Showed no mercy. Why should you? Because I'm not them. Arya met his gaze. That's the point, isn't it? To prove we're better. No. Damien moved closer, and she felt the intensity radiating off him. The point is to make them pay. To take everything they value and crush it. Just like they did to us. Is that what Sophie would want? The question hung between them like a blade. Damien's expression turned dangerous. Don't, he said quietly. Don't use her memory to. To what? Remind you that you're human? That revenge isn't bringing her back. Nothing brings her back. Damien's control shattered. He slammed his glass on the desk, scotch splashing. Nothing fixes what they did. So yes, I'll take their company, their reputation, their everything. Because it's all I have left to do. Arya set down her own glass carefully. What happens after? When we've destroyed them and we're standing in the rubble. Then what? Damien stared at her, breathing hard. For the first time she saw fear beneath his anger. Fear of the empty space that would remain when revenge was complete. I don't know, he admitted. The vulnerability in those 3 words cracked something open between them. Arya stepped closer, close enough to feel his warmth, smell his cologne mixed with scotch. Maybe, she said softly, we could figure it out together. His hand came up, fingers brushing her cheek. This is a bad idea. Probably. We'll hurt each other. Most likely. We're too broken for this. Definitely. Arya's pulse raced. Do it anyway. He kissed her then, fierce and desperate, like a drowning man reaching for air. Arya kissed him back, pouring 6 months of loneliness and pain and need into it. They collided like stars, bright and burning and inevitably destructive. When they finally broke apart, both were breathing hard. This changes nothing, Damien said, but his hand was still cupped around her face. The plan continues. I know. Arya's voice was steady even as her heart hammered. I want it to. That night, Arya went home alone but not lonely. Something had shifted. The careful distance they'd maintained had collapsed, and she didn't know if that made them stronger or more vulnerable. She opened her laptop and began planning the Sterling anniversary party. Every detail perfect. Every element designed to showcase their happiness. And woven through it all, invisible to everyone but her and Damien, the groundwork for their destruction. Hashtag the first strike. The Sterling anniversary party took shape over the next 3 months. Arya worked directly with Marcus, enduring his condescending smiles and veiled insults. He loved having her plan his celebration, loved showing her how well he'd done without her. The floral arrangements should be grand, he instructed during one meeting. Nothing understated. I want everyone to see what success looks like. Of course, Arya said smoothly. Nothing says success like compensating for insecurity with excessive displays. Marcus's smile tightened. Was that a joke? Just agreeing with you. Arya's expression remained professional. Grand it is. She left each meeting with her dignity intact and her recordings secured. Marcus talked freely about business, about deals that skirted legality, about investors he'd manipulated. He was so confident in his superiority that he never thought to guard his words. Damien's team analyzed everything, built a case. Slowly, carefully, they assembled the evidence that would destroy Sterling Corporation. His father's worse, Damien reported during one of their now nightly strategy sessions. These sessions always ended the same way, with them in each other's arms, seeking comfort in the only other person who understood. Richard Sterling has offshore accounts, falsified tax returns, contracts with shell companies. He's been stealing from his own investors for years. Can we prove it? Arya asked. Almost. We need access to his private servers. The ones in his home office. Arya was silent for a moment. The anniversary party is at their house. I'll have access to every room for setup. Too risky. It's perfect. Everyone will be focused on the party. I can slip away, download the files. No. Damien's arms tightened around her. If you're caught. I won't be. Arya turned to face him. This is what we've been working toward. You said it yourself, we need that evidence. Not at the cost of you. The words hung in the air. When had it become about more than revenge? When had keeping her safe become more important than destroying the Sterlings? Damien, Arya said gently. I need to do this. For me. To prove I'm not the weak girl they destroyed. He searched her face, then nodded reluctantly. I'm coming with you. As your assistant for the evening. You'll be recognized. I'll handle it. His voice turned cold, determined. We do this together or not at all. Hashtag the night of the party. The Sterling mansion glittered with 1,000 lights. Arya had transformed their ballroom into a crystal paradise. All white roses and gold accents and flowing champagne. 200 guests circulated in designer gowns and tailored tuxedos, celebrating Marcus and Vivian's 6-month anniversary. Arya wore black, professional, almost invisible among the staff. Damien, in a server's uniform with his hair dyed dark and glasses obscuring his face, stayed close. Marcus gave a speech. My beautiful wife, he said, arm around Vivian's waist. She smiled, but Arya saw how forced it was. She's shown me what it means to be with someone who truly understands me. Someone worthy of the Sterling name. The guests applauded. Arya's nails dug into her palms. Now, Damien murmured near her ear. Richard just went to his study. He'll be there for 20 minutes according to his pattern. They slipped away from the party, moving through the mansion's corridors. Damien picked the study lock in seconds, apparently one of many skills he'd acquired in his quest for revenge. The room was enormous, lined with expensive books Richard had never read. His computer sat on a mahogany desk, password protected but not secure enough for Damien's hacking skills. 8 minutes, Damien said, fingers flying over the keyboard. Just need to download. The door opened. Richard Sterling stood in the doorway, his face flushed with alcohol and rage. What the hell is this? Damien moved fast, positioning himself between Arya and Richard. Mr. Sterling. We were just. I know exactly what you're doing. Richard's eyes narrowed. Damien cross. I thought I recognized you. Come back for more, have you? Wasn't destroying you once enough. You killed Sophie, Damien said, voice shaking with controlled fury. You covered it up, paid off witnesses and walked away like her life meant nothing. She was collateral damage. Richard shrugged, and the casual cruelty of it made Arya's stomach turn. Business is war. People get hurt. That's life. Not anymore. Damien held up a flash drive. I have everything. Every illegal deal, every falsified document, every crime you've committed. And tomorrow the FBI gets all of it. Richard's face went purple. You'll regret this. I'll destroy you again, destroy her. You can't. Arya stepped forward. We're not the powerless people you crushed before. We're stronger now. And we're taking you down. Richard lunged forward, but Marcus appeared in the doorway. Father, what's? Marcus stopped, taking in the scene. His eyes landed on Arya, then Damien, then the computer. Understanding dawned. You. This whole time. The business, the party, it was all to get to us. Yes, Arya said simply. Surprised. Marcus's face twisted with rage and something else. Hurt, maybe. As if he'd actually believed she'd forgiven him. You vindictive bitch, he hissed. After everything I gave you. You gave me nothing. Arya's voice cracked like a whip. You took everything. My trust, my love, my business, my dignity. You and your family crushed me and felt nothing. Well, now it's your turn. Marcus. Vivian appeared behind him, pale and shaking. What's happening? Your husband, Damien said coldly, is about to lose everything. Just like we did. Security guards rushed in. The party below had fallen silent. Guests crept up the stairs, drawn by the commotion. Richard Sterling stood in the center of his study, surrounded by witnesses, as Damien calmly explained what they'd found. Fraud. Tax evasion. Bribery. Enough crimes to put him away for decades. Marcus tried to run. Damien's security team blocked him. And Arya stood there, watching her revenge unfold exactly as planned, feeling nothing but emptiness. #the hollow victory. Later that night, after the police had left with Richard in handcuffs, after the guests had scattered in shock, after the news vans had arrived, Arya sat on the steps of the Sterling mansion with Damien beside her. We did it, Damien said quietly. They're finished. Sterling Corporation will collapse. Marcus will be investigated too. Everything they built is gone. Yes, Arya said. We won. Then why do you look like that? Arya turned to him. Like what? Like you've lost something instead of gained it. She thought about the question. About Marcus's face when he realized what she'd done. About Vivian, standing alone in her diamond-studded prison. About Richard, still arrogant even as the police led him away. Because nothing feels different, Arya admitted. I thought revenge would heal me. Make me whole again. But I'm still broken. Just richer and more successful. Damien was quiet for a long moment. Then, Sophie used to tell me that revenge was like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Smart woman. She was. His voice cracked. And I spent 5 years ignoring her wisdom because it hurt less to hate than to grieve. Arya took his hand. What do we do now? I don't know. Damien squeezed her fingers. For 5 years I've had one purpose. Now it's done and I'm just empty. They sat together in the darkness, two people who'd won everything and felt nothing. The city lights sparkled below them, indifferent to their pain. Arya's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Thank you. Vivian. Arya stared at it. Then another message appeared. Asterisk, he never loved me. Just wanted to win. You set me free. I'm leaving him. Starting over. Like you did. Asterisk. Maybe, Arya said slowly. Maybe revenge isn't the point. Maybe surviving is. Maybe becoming someone stronger than who we were. Damien looked at her. Is that enough? I don't know. But it's something. As dawn approached, they walked away from the Sterling mansion together. Behind them, the ruins of their revenge. Ahead, the uncertain future. And for the first time in months, Arya felt something other than anger. She felt possibility. The reckoning, 2,000 words. The morning after. Arya woke in Damien's penthouse, sunlight streaming through floor-to-ceiling windows. For a moment she forgot where she was. Then memory crashed back. The party, the confrontation. Richard Sterling being led away in handcuffs. The news was everywhere. Her phone showed dozens of notifications. Headlines screamed across every major outlet. Sterling empire crumbles. Decades of fraud exposed. Tech billionaire Damien Cross brings down corporate giant. Event planner's revenge. How Arya Blackwood got justice. But it was the smaller headline that made her pause. Vivian Sterling files for divorce citing emotional abuse. Damien entered the bedroom with coffee, already dressed in a suit. The FBI wants us to testify. They're building their case against Richard and potentially Marcus too. Marcus knew. Arya accepted the coffee. He knew enough. Whether they can prove criminal intent is another question. Damien sat on the edge of the bed. But his reputation is destroyed either way. No one will do business with him now. Good, Arya said automatically. Then quieter, is it good? I thought I'd feel triumphant. Instead, I just feel tired. Damien's hand found hers. Sophie used to say that revenge was a fire that burned everything, including the person carrying it. You've mentioned her more in the past 12 hours than in 6 months. Because I'm finally letting her go. His voice was raw. Destroying the Sterlings didn't bring her back. Didn't make the pain less. It just filled the space where healing should have been. Arya set down her coffee and turned to face him fully. What do we do now? We built everything on revenge. Without it, we built something else. Damien's thumb traced circles on her palm. Something real. If you want to. I don't know how, Arya admitted. I don't know how to be the person who isn't angry anymore. Neither do I. But maybe we learn together. Before Arya could respond, her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered cautiously. Arya. Marcus's voice was rough, exhausted. We need to talk. Hashtag the unexpected conversation. They met in a small cafe in Brooklyn, far from the Manhattan elite who were currently tearing the Sterling family apart in tabloids and social media. Marcus looked terrible. Unshaven, wrinkled clothes, haunted eyes. Thank you for coming, he said as Arya slid into the booth. I'm only here because I'm curious. Arya kept her voice neutral. What could you possibly have to say to me? Marcus stared at his untouched coffee. I destroyed you. Not because you deserved it, but because I could. Because that's what Sterlings do. We crush anyone who doesn't fit our image of perfection. I know that now. I never loved Vivian. The words tumbled out like a confession. I never loved you either, not really. I loved the idea of you. Someone brilliant and driven who made me look good. When Vivian threw herself at me, it was just ego. Proof I could have whatever I wanted. You had everything, Arya said coldly. Money, power, a woman who actually loved you. And you threw it away for what? A conquest. Yes. Marcus finally looked at her. That's exactly what I did. And now I have nothing. My father's going to prison. My mother won't speak to me. Vivian's gone. The company's stock is worthless. Business partners won't return my calls. He laughed bitterly. I'm living in a hotel room because I'm too ashamed to go home. I spent 6 months in a studio apartment eating ramen, Arya said flatly. You'll survive. I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm trying to say, Marcus's voice broke. I'm sorry. For everything. You deserved none of what I did to you. You were kind and loyal and brilliant, and I destroyed you because my ego mattered more than your humanity. Arya sat back studying him. The arrogant man she'd loved was gone. This was someone broken, finally seeing the monster he'd become. Sorry doesn't fix it, she said. I know. Nothing fixes it. But you deserve to hear it anyway. Marcus pulled an envelope from his jacket. This is every contact who blacklisted you. Every person my family pressured to drop you. I've sent each of them a letter explaining the truth. That you were the victim of my family's vindictiveness. It won't undo what happened, but maybe it clears your name. Arya took the envelope, surprised. Why? Because maybe if I do one decent thing, I can sleep at night. Marcus stood. I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I needed you to know that what you did, exposing my father, standing up to us, it was brave. You're extraordinary, Arya. I just never appreciated it until I lost everything else. He left without waiting for a response. Arya sat alone in the cafe, holding the envelope, feeling something she hadn't expected. Not satisfaction. Not triumph. Closure. Hashtag Vivian's truth. A week later, Vivian called. Arya almost didn't answer, but curiosity won. I'm at a coffee shop in Soho, Vivian said. Can we talk? Face to face? Please. Arya found her at a corner table, wearing jeans and a simple sweater. No designer labels, no jewelry. Her hair was pulled back in a ponytail, and without the armor of wealth, she looked younger. Scared. Thank you, Vivian said as Arya sat. I wasn't sure you'd come. I wasn't sure I would either. I don't expect you to forgive me. Vivian twisted a napkin between her fingers. What I did was unforgivable. You were my best friend, and I betrayed you for a man who never loved either of us. Then why? Arya asked. Why do it?